Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Cafe Bagheri. Today, we're going to do one of my favorites. I forgot what we do. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Cafe Bagheri. Welcome back to Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Cafe Bagheri. Hey, what's going on? Let's finish this. Let's finish it. Hey.
Hello friends, welcome back to Cafe Bagheri. Today we're gonna make one of my favorite dishes. This is the French cheeseburger. This is one of Mama San's favorite dishes to make, and it's just so very good, and it's gonna become something that you make for you and your family all the time, I guarantee it. We're gonna start with the French baguette, some French bread. We're gonna go ahead and put it on its side and slice it down the middle, kind of like a sandwich. Once we get it sliced down the middle, we are gonna go ahead and hollow it out a bit. So you can do this with a couple tools. You can use maybe like a knife or something. I just prefer to use my hands. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna hollow out enough that we get mostly a crust and maybe like a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch of bread around the outside. Just remove most of the bread. What we can do is we can just save this right here. I'm gonna feed this to the birds later, or maybe I can make some breadcrumbs. So now we're going to go ahead and grab some French onion soup mix. Now you can get this from Whole Foods, Walmart, Target. We get the Great Value brand from Walmart. I'm gonna go grab that right now. Okay, so this French onion soup mix, it's a little too coarse. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna throw it in this mortar and pestle here. So this is just dried kind of shards of onion and various spices and stuff. So we're just gonna add this stuff in here. Give it a little bit of crunching, get the onions nice and crushed up. You can also use a spice grinder, or honestly you can, if you like more coarse onions and you like kind of bigger chunks of onion, you can just leave it as is. This just gets everything nice and mixed up, gets the onions a little bit smaller, a little bit more homogeneous with the burger mix, with the meat. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove this bread off the table real quick so we have some more room to work with. And now we're gonna get 2 pounds of ground beef. This is 85/15. You can use 90/10, 85/15, just something slightly leaner than 80/20, which is what we normally use here. So we're gonna add the spices in here, and then we're just gonna mix it in. We do this by hand. If you have the, any tools to do ground beef mixing, maybe like a meat grinder or something, and double grind it, you can do that as well. This is just the easiest way to do it, and you want to make sure that the spices get completely mixed in there. We don't want any big, dry pockets in there, and we also don't want any dry mix at the very bottom as well. It's starting to mix all in. We have these chunks of dried onion in the meat here. This is just our mixture. This is just it right here. It's nice and simple, nice and easy to work with. You want to make sure you get all of that spice in there. Make sure the bowl, if you look here, the bowl is clean. There's no spices at the bottom. That means that we're almost there. Just going to do a little bit more mixing. Okay, now that the ground beef is all nice and mixed up, I'm going to go ahead and get another glove here. There we go. So we have 2 baguettes to fill up, right? So this is 2 pounds of beef. We want to split this down the middle so we have enough for 1 and enough for 2. So let's take this, flatten it out a little bit, and then just kind of eyeball right down the middle and use our fingers to cut a little trench right there. So that's about 1/2 and 1/2. So what we're gonna do is take a little bit of this one, flatten it out a little bit in our hands, and place it into our bread, right? You take a little bit more, flatten it out a little bit and place it into the bread. And we're just gonna repeat that until we fill this whole thing up. The more meat, the better. That's the Cafe Bagheri saying, ladies. Okay. So, we're getting the... Give me a second, I'm sorry. Okay. So, we're getting our last piece of meat in. I can't do it. Okay, so we have our last piece of meat here. We're just gonna put it into the bread here. And now we're gonna just spread everything out, make sure there's no gaps or holes in our kind of meat, log moat, if you will. Okay, so we have our oven preheated to 375. We're gonna go ahead and throw it in there for about 20 minutes. Now, it's gonna be going in for 20 minutes, and while it's in the oven, we're gonna be working on the cheese for our cheeseburger. So now that that's in the oven, it's gonna be there for about 20 minutes, we can start to slice our cheese. So we say use sliced cheese. That can either be your slicing like we're about to do here, or you can just buy, chunks of sliced cheese from the grocery store. The amount of cheese you use depends on how much cheese you like, right? So if you like a lot of cheese and you like a real greasy, nice, good burger, then you would use quite a bit, maybe 8 to 10 slices. If you like a little bit of cheese, you want maybe like a thin layer of cheese in the very middle and it doesn't go all the way to the edges, then you use maybe 4, 5, 6 slices of cheese. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut off a very, very thin slice of cheese. So just get it here and get a nice slice of cheese right there. Look at that. Maybe 1/8 of an inch, 1/16 of an inch thick. It's perfect. And so we're gonna make about 8 to 10 of those. The reason I like to hand cut it is because the thickness is a little bit less uniform, which makes it a little bit more rustic. A little bit more French countryside, rustic, artisanal, all of those adjectives, So now let's go ahead and get our French cheeseburger out of the oven and start putting the cheese on it. So as you can see, we have a nice, delicious, greasy French cheeseburger here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna add this cheese on there. Now, there's a ton of different ways to do it. Like I said before, if you like less cheese, you can kind of do this and do like 3 or 4 pieces like that. I like to cover with cheese. I like to have full coverage. So I go like this and just put them kind of at a diagonal so we get quite a bit of cheese. So I'll just take one of these slices, fold it in half, throw that right there. As you can see, we're just throwing the cheese on there willy-nilly, not worrying too much about how it looks because it's all gonna melt and it's all gonna taste really good, and that's all that really matters. Throw it back in the oven for about 8 minutes. Same temperature, same setup, same rack, just 8 more minutes. Okay, and here it is, the finished product, the cooked French cheeseburger. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, we're gonna take this, we're gonna pull it off, right off to the side there. We're gonna do that for this other one as well. There we go. And we're gonna get a serrated bread knife, and we're just gonna slice it. Like that, just get some good chunks. So one of the beauties of this recipe is that because of all the nice fat in the cheese and in the meat, it kind of soaks into the bread and creates a nice soggy inner bread, and then the outer crust of the bread almost fries because it has this fat and it's cooking, so it's really crunchy, it's really crispy. And that's all she wrote. The Cafe Bagheri French cheeseburger, like I said before, you are never gonna make another type of cheeseburger for as long as you live. Thank you guys so much for watching.
And if you liked it so far, please hit the like button.
Make sure to subscribe and hit the little bell button.
The bell button, yeah.
The little bell button so we can keep in touch.
And send us pictures.
Send us pictures at Instagram.com/CafeBagheri.
And we'll see you in another one of these next April, maybe.
See you soon.
See you soon.
See you soon.
See you soon.
See you.
Let me have some of that.
See you soon.